I'm gonna build more computer stuff. I wasn't very happy with last time when we did Windows 95. The drive wasn't big enough, 512 megabytes. So I bought this 8 gigabyte memory card, and I was also unhappy that the resolution couldn't go high enough to fill the capture screen, since I wanted to use it to do some videos on PCB layout techniques. Really wanted the full screen. I thought we'd try Windows 98 to see if that can output 1920 by 1080 on that Quadro graphics card. So we'll install that now on the same motherboard, which is still here. And annoyingly, last time the power supply is so loud it messed up the sound in the video. Because of that, I found a different power supply that we can use, and I've got that hooked up here. This a much newer power supply which has a temperature control fan, so that makes much less background noise in the video, and that's wired up. I'm going to use the Windows 98 startup disk to start it. I've already formatted the disk and partitioned it since we've done enough of that on the video. We don't need to worry about that anymore. So it's ready to start the installer. I've copied the setup files onto the disk. I think we're ready to go. The only thing that was a bit dodgy is because it's got a 24-pin power connector there, but this motherboard, of course, it's old, only wants 20, so the extra ones are kind of pushed over to the side. Seemed to be an option on it, but it's still kind of in the way. Oh, that's better. It sits down between the thing. Yeah, annoyingly the CPU fan's still quite loud. It's also really dusty. Perhaps we should sort that out before we start. Maybe that will make it a bit quieter. Probably doesn't even need a fan. Should we just run it without the fan to keep it nice and quiet? Wow, that's fully crusted over with dust. Yeah, I should probably sort that out. I need to vacuum that away. I'll clean this fan. I'll get that out of the way. Look how bad that is. I hadn't checked that before. I'll clean that, and then we'll start the Windows 98 setup. Alright, the dust is gone. I'm going to put this back. It's all annoying stiff cable that doesn't bend properly. They forgot to twist the cables in there lightly so that it would bend. And maybe we'll just try it without this for a while, and we'll just see how hot it gets, because then it will be nice and quiet. We've also got that power meter thing that we saw in some other videos. So we can see what the power consumption of this computer is, since I was interested to know the power consumption. And the reason why I'll use the Windows 98 disk to startup disk to boot from is because it should enable high mem or some other things which should help the setup run a bit faster. And also the other reason for choosing Windows 98 is because it supports multi-monitors. So if we still can't get this graphics card to output in 1920-1080 resolution, I would be able to use two outputs and capture them both side by side, so that would at least allow us to fill the width of the screen. In theory, that's the idea, but let's start. We've got the disk in now. The boot disk is there. Okay, standby consumption. And now, there you go, look at that, nice and small. This power supply makes a high-pitched noise. Yeah, so it's 51 watts, it's pretty hungry. And we're going to go to start without Cd-Rom, because we don't have a Cd-Rom, we don't need one. Already copied the setup files onto the disk, so we should be able to just run it and do the setup. It's barely warm, we'll check in a while. Maybe it can be a nice quiet computer. I don't know how efficient this power supply is. You would have to look up that spec, maybe it's not super efficient. Let's look. So put C 98SE and then 98 and then setup, and we should be good to go. Yeah, put a copy of the whole Windows 98 disk, so there could be other stuff in there. That's exciting. So we'll just wait for this scan disk. Good. Ready to carry on. We have mouse. Look at that, we got mouse. This good mouse, of course. These really thick display cables are bending the back of this card over. A bit dodgy. It needs to be in a case. This is the slim, low profile form factor thing. I don't know if I have a bracket for the other one. We'll just get this sorted out. Okay, we'll carry on with the install, and perhaps I'll fast forward most of the video or not record it because we've seen all this stuff before. Okay, let's see what options there are. We'll enter a name. Good. And none. Wallpapers, I suppose, games, pointers, templates. We've got a big enough disk now, we can just install the stuff because, yeah, we've got a big enough disk. It's only going to use up 260 megabytes. Desktop themes, I suppose we should have those. Oh, that's 31 megabytes. Dangerous creatures. Baseball. Alright, whatever. There's some themes. Internet tools. Web-based enterprise management. I don't really need multi-languages. Multimedia. No, we have to find a sound card if we want to run any of this stuff. Net watcher. Yeah, let's have that stuff. Great. P2. Whatever. Ah, it's the wrong way around, isn't it? Win98. P2. Yeah, sure. Good. No. We don't really... okay, good. Copying files. Windows is preparing. That got pretty hot. Okay, let's put the fan back on. Forgot to check that. Hopefully that's not making too much annoying sound. The sound gets worse once it's clipped in. But yeah, that did get pretty smogging. Yeah, when it's just sitting in there, the sound is better. Or not as bad. I guess then it's not doing as much cooling. You know, I guess if it's drawing 48 watts, then it has to be going somewhere. Not very much of it's coming out of the graphics card. And I'm guessing these other chips aren't doing much, and that RAM's not doing much. I don't know what the efficiency of the power supply would be. It's probably not very good at such a light load. We'll come back once this is done, and then we'll take a look at Windows and have a look at putting the display driver on and see if that works. First reboot. Got no disk. Might as well get rid of the floppy drive while we're at it, just so that we don't have the annoyingness of that seeking all the time when we reboot, because there's probably going to be heaps of reboots. As always. So let's just get rid of the floppy drive now while we have the chance. And we'll change this CA. Great. And just yoink that out. Yeah, if you do keep your floppy drive enabled in the BIOS, you can just hot plug them in when you need to and then take them away when you're finished, which is sometimes convenient. You don't want to restart the computer for some reason. Yeah, really, we should find a header on the motherboard for getting this 5 volts out. It's a bit silly having to get this hooked up. Much nicer we can just plug it into something like the power LED pin or something else. Oh, there's an IR port that probably has 5 volts signal on it. Make this much tighter. But really, this is no good. We need one that has a right angle header socket thing there, so it just comes straight up. Make a nice compact system. Getting ready to run Windows for the first time. You could probably plug it into a fan header too. Although this board only has one, I think. Back in the day we didn't really have fans. It could power from the USB socket, maybe. Look, the mouse works. Oh, we still have to do all this business. Oh, I was going to find a sound card to stick in the ISA slot. Perhaps I'll grab that. Got this sound card. I bought it and it was in good condition when I bought it, second hand, but it got run over in the post and completely destroyed. All the capacitors squashed, all the connectors smashed. The board is bent and damaged, and so I've took out all the damaged parts, new capacitors where needed. I didn't reinstall all this stuff because that's the audio amplifier. I didn't really need that, and I had to put on new crystals because they were broken. Even though they looked fine from the outside, they didn't work. So there's 2 new crystals there. I think that one will work, so that's fine. There were pins and tracks damaged there that had to get replaced, and it does work now. There's the line out. Just comes straight off those caps. That's the decoupling cap straight off the output of the chip. It's Yamaha something or other. So we should be able to... That was a really weird frequency. Crystal 33.86 something or other. I didn't find any of those around, so I managed to steal that one out of a mini disc player. Looked through all my stuff trying to find a crystal of that frequency, and yeah, finally found one in a mini disc player. So on the next reboot, we'll stick this card in and see if that comes up. We probably should have done it before, because then it could get detected as part of the Windows setup, which would have been good, but anyway, well, tough, isn't it? So let's just wait for this stuff to get going. Next reboot happening. That took a long time to get there. For some reason it was stuck for ages on that setting shortcuts or something. Don't know why, but here we go. Now, so since this is going to reboot, we'll just power off and we'll plug in the sound card, and hopefully that won't wreck it, but it might find it if we're lucky. So we'll just pop that in there on the end slot and we'll power it back up. Okay, it powers on automatically, and it will presumably, will it be ready to go into Windows or something? Well, it's not going to give us sound right away, is it? Because it missed out on all that setting up of the stuff. We just plug into the speakers anyway. Look at that, it found the thing, gave it IRQs and all that business. So that's promising. It's found a splitter, that's good. That's the HDMI splitter, so that I've got my own preview as well as the capture. Wow, is that because I accidentally checked the floppy drive? That's annoying, because we haven't got one. We just... okay, whatever, good. There are some drivers, so I found some chipset drivers, I think. I think it's some generic thing that supports a whole bunch of chipsets. So we can run that and see what that does. That should give us some motherboard resources things. This is quite exciting though. It's found this, because I remember this card was really difficult to get it installed in Windows 95. I spent a long time searching and downloading different drivers and trying them, and eventually found one that did work. And it had some weird situation where the card would only work once until you rebooted, and then you'd have to reinstall it completely to get it working again. So hopefully in Windows 8 it does just work, because that would be quite nice. Yeah, well, yeah. It would be nice that if you don't have to keep reinstalling it every time the computer reboots. I heard a noise of the sound card clicking into place. What it's doing. Just doing something? Oh, it's updating shortcuts. It seems to like doing that. I wonder why it has to do that so much. Maybe we don't have a... It's doing it again! A hard disk light is what we need. Probably could find a thing somewhere so we could see what it's flickering. There we go, look at that, we're in Windows. Oh look, it gave us the sound thing. Look at that, the sound works. That's quite good for plugging it in and having it boot up, install it, and just work out of the box. Pretty amazing. Maintain our computer. We could discover Windows 98. This might be annoying. Please wait while Windows 98 is discovered. Yeah, we don't want to do any of this. We need to install the graphics card, Directx, and motherboard drivers before we discover Windows 98. So let's have a look. I put a drivers folder. We're going to have to make this nicer so it's usable. Should we do... yeah, let's just do the graphics driver. Then we'll do the other things. I think, yeah, that's the chipset that we've got. I've also got this mouse. Oh look, the wheel is supported out of the box, so I guess we don't need to install that. A good Intelli mouse wheel. It is good. The height of that and the height of the slim graphics card means we could build a system in a small box and get a small power supply in here and make a nice compact Windows 98 computer. Let's reboot to finish installing this video card. Okay, I guess it's rebooting, is it? It's doing something, yep. Oh, look at that, we're updating our system settings again, that's good. Good Windows startup noise. And all that business. Alright, so we'll look at the chipset drivers and see what that does. I guess that's going, I guess it's busy with that at the moment. Oh look, we got an NVIDIA icon thing. Did we get a higher resolution? Don't know. Yeah, we did get a higher resolution. Don't know what that means, okay. Okay, so we're on a 440 Alex. So that seems to be what we want to do. I'm going to restart again. Awesome. Should have seen that coming. What? The Windows has been detected. Really? We got to restart it. Now, does that mean it's ruined now and it will never work again? Maybe installing those drivers is a bad idea. Okay. And I guess we don't have Windows 98 working. Well then let's... I don't know. Should we unplug the sound card? Will that make any difference? Do we need to reinstall it again and then just not install those drivers and just pretend we don't need them? Maybe that's what we should do. I want to install it all over again. That was annoying. Oh, it works. Really? So the sound card was wrecked, was it? Awesome. And maybe the sound card is bung. Well, it works for a while and then doesn't work after you reboot, like I said before. Strange. Okay. It's a shame because old sound cards are hard to get hold of these days. I wonder though, if since we've got USBs on here, would we be able to use a generic USB sound device? Do they work in Windows 98? Look at that, it's finding the good those things though. Oh, maybe it's once it's finished installing those, then we can put the sound card back and it might work again. We'll try that. Why do we have to do this to install a plug and play monitor? I don't know, whatever. Good, whatever. Oh look. Ah. Look at that. USBs are installing now. Oh yeah, we could probably put an add-in card to add heaps more USB ports. I have got some. There's a couple of flavors. There's this NEC one with a bunch of ports, and then there's this cheap Via one. Firewires and USBs. I suppose it would be good to get some Firewire in this computer because we've got some Digital 8 handy cams with Firewire, which might be fun to play with. Let's restart again. Good, gotta go through that again. Now, what have we got for resolutions? Oh, look, detects the second monitor, that's nice. And let's see, we'll try something easy first. Yes, that's good. 128 by 1024, which is what we were doing last time. Yes. And if we shut and open this thing, it will hopefully come back as the proper resolution. Yes, so that's nice and sharp. Now let's see if we can go beyond. Let's try that. Oh no, it goes into that again, where you can't really tell. Okay, let's just go to the final one. So well, that's really annoying. So it doesn't seem to matter whether you're using Windows 98 or Windows 95, it can't do these higher resolutions. I wonder if that's a limitation of that graphics card. It could be, because I don't really remember ever using those graphics cards at higher resolutions, because we just had 1280 by 1024 monitors at that point when those graphics cards were the normal thing to have. That's a shame. So we need to go back to that, I suppose. And then we got to plug in another one, but in order to do that I have to find another one of these HDMI things. Or we can use that DVI capture thing that I've got and we'll put a second monitor next to it and then we'll have a wide... Let's try that right now. There's another thing, and the problem is it'll be spanning two different capture cards, but that probably doesn't matter. Just wondering if I have got another one of these DVI to HDMI adapters, that would be better. There might be one hiding somewhere, but we'll just try this DVI to whatever thing. We also need to try putting back in the sound card and see if the computer will accept it again. I suppose we should also try the DVI capture. at high resolution. Let's see. It says the monitor is currently disabled. It will be used as part of your desktop. You can move your mouse to it. Alright. And we'll try making that. Wow, it goes hard. Let's stick it to that and see whether it will do anything. Okay, we'll just pretend that worked. And then we'll turn on the other capture. Says no signal. Okay, I suppose we have to put it in a more sensible resolution. Oh, it's disabled. Okay, so it didn't actually do it? Okay, still saying no signal. So how is it doing it if it's not actually doing it? It says it's outputting it, but there's nothing actually being detected as capturable. Let's just switch this cable over and see if there's something on it. Yeah, there's nothing coming out of that second one. Maybe you have to restart the computer. As you see, swapping them over, the primary one is coming out of the other capture now. First we'll restart the computer and see if it starts working. Just love restarting computers. Okay, should we put the sound card in at the same time? Maybe we should install Directx, just for fun. Directx 8. That will make it way more awesome, won't it? Oh, look at that thing. So you can install it or you can close. Sounds good. Crashed yet? No, it's just doing whatever that is. You need to restart the computer, okay. Oh, look at posts on both. Windows 98 is on both. There seems to be any more HDMI to DVI adapters. Sure there was another one. Maybe there wasn't another one. There's lots of DisplayPort adapters. Oh, look at that. Please wait while Windows builds a driver information database. Let's install another monitor then. And so now, can we move the mouse over to the other screen? It's hitting that again. Seems to get stuck when you bring it over there. Problem is that's scaled really weirdly. Oh, it seems like that forcibly rescales it to 1920 by 1080. That's not what we want at all. I wonder if we can change that. Oh, the problem is... oh no, it has got it. There we go. So that should be natively resolved now. Yeah, look at that. The mouse pointer seamlessly goes over onto the second monitor. Oh, that's nice. Oh, it looks like that's in low color. Ah. Oh, it will be the capture, will it? Something's really wonky about that. Why would that be so crusty looking on the other monitor? I didn't think you could have different color settings per monitor. No, looks like you can. Look at that. That one's in 256 colors. Okay. Well, let's make it... what? Just normal. Alright. We've got stuff doing things. Now we got a full screen monitor thing. Although that one there still looks weird. I think that one, this one here is through a USB capture card, because that's the only thing I've got that's got a DVI input on it. And I think it does chroma subsampling, which is not what you want because it crusts everything out. I don't think it supports RGB color. Okay, I'll change the bandwidth. Let's try restarting that. Does that change anything? It doesn't look like it. There's a thing called XRGB, is that? That seems to be as good as you get. Is that good now? Show window contents while dragging. It'll be good enough. We'll survive with this, I think. Still Winamp, but it's still Protel. That's what we were trying to do before. I suppose we should try that other one, though, the version 6 first. Okay, well that doesn't work. Suppose we'll install Winamp. We don't even have a sound card though. Yeah, we need to try the sound card again to see if that works. I wonder if PaintShop Pro 8 or 9. Guess we'll try 9 first. Oh yeah, you can see a slight difference in the gap there. I didn't notice that before. It's slightly misaligned, isn't it? A later. Huh. Okay. What version of Internet Explorer we have? I thought it was 5. Maybe that's not good enough. You could probably put Internet Explorer 6 on this. Could you? Maybe? Guess I should try that. Yeah, I'll have to copy it over on the next reboot. Anyway, I'll come back later once this is doing something. We'll just have a look at the Internet Explorer, see what it says. Is Explorer 5. Yeah, let's see if we install 6 on here. I'll have to get the files copied over first though. I'll wait for that to do something, so I'll get back to you depending on what happens. Wow, so that Adobe thing needs Internet Explorer 5.01 or greater. I guess we got 5.0. So yeah, we'll have to try and do something about that. So let's just shut down the computer. I'll copy over the Internet Explorer update, and I'll try putting the sound card back in and see if that will do anything, or if it will cause the computer to crash still or not. Okay, well the sound's working again. It's doing that welcome thing, and I also copied the Internet Explorer. We need to work out how to get this to always stay in the details view, because we want to see what's going on so that we can do anything properly. Let's go and do that now. So we want that, obviously. And for view, full path, of course, all files, don't hide anything. Don't remember the settings, we want them all to be consistent. And show thingies, that seems good. What we'll do, we'll make this a bit better by doing that. And it's by type, which we already had set. So we just go back into here, like current, and I think we should be good now, hopefully. Everything should stay consistent, means we can use the computer without bothering. Now hopefully this Internet Explorer 6 setup will work on this Windows 98, because it's one that I used to put on Windows 2000. Yeah, let's put it on. I guess I'm going to have to buy another HDMI to DVI adapter thing so that I can get rid of this by having them both on the internal HDMI capture card, and that way we shouldn't have that gap and that difference in color, and then we can do some good Proteling. I guess we'll see what choices we have here. Explorer 6 offline browsing, Internet Explorer help, we don't need that. Connection wizard, I suppose, I don't know, can you get on without that? Can this be made bigger? Nope. Fonts, browsing enhancements, don't want that. We want the codecs, vector graphics rendering, nah. Flash player, sure. Visual basic support, additional web fonts, sure. And we don't need multi-language support. Okay, I guess we've just chosen everything anyway. Let's get this installing, and we'll see on the next reboot does the sound card cause the computer to not boot again, but this will probably take a long time, so we'll just leave that going and then come back a bit later. Right, it's got the sound card is back in and it works, so that's good. And we got the Internet Explorer 6 was installed, so that's good. What's wrong with this? I thought we'd set this up properly. Why is it now in list mode? Very annoying that it doesn't just stay set up how you want it to be set up. Anyway, we're going to try installing this again, because it didn't like that we didn't have Internet Explorer 5.01 or better. So we'll just leave that over there. Oh, really? What's happened to the monitor? Oh, okay. That's quite strange, isn't it? It still looks like it's running. It says it's running. Yeah, okay. Good. Alright, we don't have another monitor, even though it's... I'm guessing something crashed because the mouse on my computer doesn't seem to move anymore either. Things are just really annoying. Okay, well we'll just pretend that the other monitor works, but we just don't want to put anything on it for now. And we'll have a look if Pentium Pro can install now. I need to upgrade the computer that does these recordings, because it's just doesn't want to know, which is very annoying. It's the second time today the mouse has just stopped working for no known reason. Although the capturing and recording still seems to work, and the sound still works, which is using the USB as well. So yeah, who knows. That's good, we can install this now. Pentium Pro is good. It's what you use for all image manipulation and cataloging and management. And this is the most recent good version of Pentium Pro. Anything made after this is not very good, because they removed some of the important features like the browser. Don't know why they removed one of the most useful features of the software. Well, it's not removed, it's just crippled. It just doesn't do some of the key things that it used to do in this version and earlier versions, which is save the browse file, which contains the ordering of the pictures as they display in thumbnails. So I have hundreds of directories where there are pictures, and they have browse files in them which keep track of the ordering of those pictures. This is going to take a long time, so I guess we'll come back once that's done or doing something. Hopefully now, look at this, it works again. I've had to push the reset hole on my video capturing computer again because it's just gone into this state where you can't, the USB ports don't work, OBS is hanging, then the Thunderbolt stops working, then the graphics card won't be detected, and then you try and reboot it and it just says restarting for as long as you leave it. So you push the reset hole and then we'll hope that it works for more than a few minutes this time, and we can do this because look, well, this happened. So we can finish that, and look, this actually started now, so we might be able to install a PDF reader. It's not as exciting because it's not Windows 95, it's Windows 98, so you'd expect that to work, but here we go. Yes, look, that works again. The reason why it was stopped, I think it's because the USB ports had stopped working, so this one here, which is on the USB capture, just stopped. That's good, we got PenShot Pro. Unusually slow PenShot Pro. It's probably because... Oh, what? Why is it jumping over there? Yeah, so you go remove all, and then you just turn on the specific ones. That's all you need to do there. We want this over here so we can see it. And then we go into preferences. Okay, if you want to use the browser, then you got to make this different. And turn that. And there we go, look at that. You can have it across multiple monitors. It's got docking palettes. We forgot to go onto the miscellaneous. Do that. Good. Now we'll just shut it so that it remembers those settings, and then we should be good to go. Got our PDF reader, and it didn't remember that either. Now we install Protel. Suppose we don't need that one anymore. Done that, done Directx. Got some other Adobe things from back in the day that I used to use quite a lot. Still Winamp. We don't want to, we don't want that, we just want it normal. Don't want that. Probably don't want that either. Just want it to be normal. I wonder what that is. And we don't want that. Yeah, we'll just do that. Good. We wanted the proper UI, not that weird one. Okay. So it has to go on the internet to get stuff. That's annoying. Okay, I guess we don't get Winamp then. Alright. I thought it was possible to install Winamp on a computer. Does that mean we have to turn off something in here? Like that, maybe? Yeah, we should untick that. That will probably sort it out. Okay, so next we got to do Protel, because that's what we actually came here for, isn't it? Seems very unresponsive compared to Windows 95, which we were playing with on the same hardware the other day. Is that just what Windows 98's like? Can't really remember. A reboot is required to install Winamp. Really? Wow, that's bizarre. See how weirdly unresponsive it is. I clicked on that and it just doesn't do it for a while. Anyway, we're going to install those USB cards as well. Okay, I have to enter that stuff. So hopefully this just installs and works this time. Not like last time where we were trying to install it on D drive and it seems that is not something you can do because it didn't want to know. It appeared to install correctly, but it wouldn't run. It seems important that it is installed onto C drive. And if you're installing it onto Windows 10 or 11, then it's really important that you set it, that you install it to the root of C drive, not within the program files folder. Okay, we wait for this to install. Okay, we've got the first part of Protel installation is done. And now we can put on the service pack. We end up opening heaps of setups. Okay. That must have... What? Okay. Yeah, that's weird. It doesn't have a thing, so that must mean there's probably got 2 of these going now as well. Yep, awesome. Why put... I don't know what's going on anymore. There's also, these days it takes about 10 or so attempts at starting a recording on OBS before it will start without dropping frames. I don't know why it does that. It seems to have started after a recent update where they made the UI look really horrible and spaced out. Yeah, progress I guess. So we're installing the service pack. Yeah, that's what failed when we put it to D drive, wasn't it? There was some certain files that for some reason couldn't find. So we're raining a lot. I don't know if that's coming up in the sound. Now we're going to put in these USB cards soon. We'll reboot the computer since Winamp wanted it rebooted for some unknown reason. I'll get the camera going, but yeah, we might as well turn off that other thing for a while. So we've got 2 cards. We've got this NEC USB 2 card. NEC were the best other than Intel for USB controllers back in the day. And then we got this VIA one. So you normally need to put this power on because that will bring in the 12 volts for the 6-pin Firewire ports. But I don't think we'll need to do that because if we're joining it to video cameras, you don't need the power because the power doesn't go out to video cameras because video cameras use just a 4-pin plug. Interesting, it looks like it gives you 2 more USB ports internally. I think that's what that would be. Oh no, that's an internal Firewire port. So it's paralleled onto that. So that's an internal USB port and one there, which you can use either. And so it's a 5-port USB thing and a 3-port Firewire thing. Exciting. The speed that this stuff's going at, I get the feeling this Windows 98 install is not all that good. I'm not really sure why. Do you think that compact flash card is a lot worse performing than those 512MB ones we have Windows 95 on? We'll see what happens once we get into Protel. I'm going to dust out the connectors on this USB card because they're all filled up. Great. The service pack is installed, so that's good. So we're done with that, and look, we've got a design there to look at. Let's restart the computer first for the Winamp install. For some reason I wanted to restart, and we'll also put the USB cards in at the same time. So we'll put the one that's big further away from the graphics card. We don't really want to block airflow to the graphics card, and we'll put this one closer because it's not going to block as much airflow to the heatsink. Good. And we get this thing juiced up again. And presumably more stuff will show up now in that list of devices that it finds. Serial bus controllers, I think? Let's see. Please wait while Windows builds a driver information database. We just have to turn this off and on again to get the resolution right. Good. An IRQ holder for PCI steering. Not crashed yet. It's just doing whatever that is for ages. Really? Are there no drivers for it? I wonder if we can specify the Windows 98 folder. Would it go deep into the folder, looking for drivers? What do you want to install? The updated driver. What else do we have? Oh, okay. Good. Okay, so it found one in the place. That's good. And I guess the VIA one will just install as some generic thing. Or not install at all. Okay. Firewire should install though. Or maybe it was the Firewire that didn't. Because usually Firewire is quite generic and just works. Okay, so we'll install the proper one. Okay, I don't know what that other device was. And it's got to install every port, is it? Yeah, I don't think it actually searches in subfolders, does it? Because that's a new feature. Oh look, Firewire is showing up. Open host controller interface. It's a lot of stuff. Okay, for some reason the computer seemed to be crashed, so yeah, it's not crashed now. I rebooted it and we can see we've got... Oh, I know what happened. So those things there are the USB 2 parts of these ports, aren't they? The USB 2 root hubs or whatever you call it. Okay, so it did install all the bits and pieces. Got the onboard one, then the NEC, and then the VIA, and then we have under Firewires, we've got that Firewire. Let's have a look at Protel. Hopefully this is all good. We could open these. Okay, we're opening these. Straight into the PCB. Great. Don't need the toolbars. Just remember all the shortcut keys. Great. The schematics should load up too. Good. Okay, so let's open one of my designs. We can also get that second monitor back and see if it will stretch over. Will it let it go over here? Oh, we have to finish doing this first. Put in this folder compact flash. Different type of compact flash. Plug-in flash. I can't remember what was the... Anyway, that's a photo flash that I designed and built some years back, and it is sitting over here. The cord is not long enough. Photo flash. So that is it. And yeah, it's got a sync input there below the power switch. And yeah, it's a photo flash. Fairly powerful, 100 watt seconds ish. So will it let us resize this onto the other monitor? Ah yes, look at that. Yeah, so that's my schematic for that photo flash. All the good stuff there. The flash tube joins on there. AC mains power into there. Charge controller. Full wave voltage doubler. Yes, the current's limited by these smaller capacitors to control the charge. Also by that low value resistor there. And then the charging's controlled by that optocoupled triac. There's a glow prevention circuit there. So when this collapses, it will turn that on slightly to inhibit the charge, so that the tube and the arc in the flash tube has a chance to extinguish. And there's a voltage monitoring circuit there to control the charging. And then there's the triggering circuit there for the flash tube. And then there's a beep buzzer thing, so it makes a beep noise once it's ready. And there's a PCB, which is... I didn't get the PCB made, it's just a guide that I used to make the board out of VeriBoard or strip board. So the blue shows where the strips are, is that correct? Yeah, and the red shows where links were placed. Yeah, so I made some custom components, or some footprint for this, for vertical resistors that either go to the adjacent holes or jump one hole over. And yeah, worked out a layout that works best with the strips. And there is a little surface mount, that's the buffer thing for driving the flash, triggering the flash. And yeah, there's a few other bits and pieces like that go over to there that had to be manually wired. Something there by the look of it. And then these green dots are showing where the foil needs to be removed, especially around this area, because that's needs to have a reasonable creepage between the mains reference side and the touchable side where the sync input goes, and that's all reinforced with glue and plastic insulating sheet around that gap, so it should be nice and safe. Yeah, originally there was a huge capacitor lying down there, but it wasn't a flash rated capacitor, so it didn't work very well, and that's now been replaced by a cluster of capacitors in this area. Proper flash capacitors, a whole bunch of them joined in parallel, because that's what I had lying around at the time. Yeah, there you go, photo flash. One last thing we need to do is have a look at Winamp. Presumably it's installed now since we have rebooted the computer. Just shut this down. Protel uses databases, Microsoft Access databases, compresses them when you close the program. There you go, Winamp. Oh, what? Just normal Winamp, please, without whatever that is? I thought you could just have Winamp. Here we go. Great, Winamp. Awesome. Used to use that a lot. I think that's us. We've built a Windows 98 computer that seems to work, and we've got Protel working on it, which was my goal, so that I could do some videos sharing PCB design stuff, which presumably I'll do in the coming months, I guess, depending on my other work. Great, Windows 98. Let's do something for fun while we're here on Windows 98. red one, not that one. That one's the fast one. Ah, that doesn't seem very high performance graphics, does it? That's not gonna work. Can we put it on hardcore or something? High? Nah. Ah. Ah. I don't know why it's doing that. I've not seen that before. Alright then, we're not going to play this because it doesn't work.